Alright, we're going to try and do a room tour. I've got this wide-ish angle lens on, that's like the widest one I've got, so you're probably seeing a little bit more of the room than you normally do, but still it's not ideal, so I'm going to have to try and work this out with moving the camera around and then put some B-roll in with the GoPro and stuff, but try and give you an idea of the room. Haven't done a room tour in ages, and I keep meaning to do them, and it keeps constantly changing because I had to last year change a lot of the game room because I had to incorporate like a desk where I can work, because I've been working from home a lot and still am working from home a lot. So that's kind of a working station slash place where I can edit, I can sit and edit, and we've got like a sound system there. I've also got another little setup of computers kind of behind the camera that you can't see, which I'll show you, and then obviously this main wall and everything, and some bits you can't see, like you can see some Star Wars helmets there, and there's the TV over there, and it's just some bits you can't see. So what I'll do is I'll just, yeah, like I said, I'll move you around and kind of give you a summary of the room and show you a little bit. I'm not going to go like hugely in depth looking at every game and everything, but just to give you a gist of kind of the setup in this room. It's a really small room, but I'm really happy with the setup. I think this is the best setup I've ever had. It's really cool. I've got everything set up how I want it. So yeah, let's start and have a look around. Okay, I know I said I was going to do the B-roll on the GoPro, but actually looking at it, because of the wide angle, I'm going to film the whole thing on the GoPro, so we'll just see how we go. Apologies if it's shaky or anything, but this is the main, you know, the main area of the game room that you normally see, because I'm normally stood in front of this bookcase here, and that's like the main bulk of the games. There's loads of stuff in storage under the bed that you won't see in the game room, so you know, there's a few consoles like my PS2 and my CoinOps Xbox are under there, and just a ton of controllers and games and all sorts, you know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff under there, but this is the main stuff I have out to kind of, you know, that I mostly play or use. So I guess we'll start in this corner. So this is like my big box corner, this cabinet in the corner. So it's big box PC and Amiga games, and of course we've got some stuff on the wall. So we've got this artwork framed Day of the Tentacle poster, and that's the poster that's kind of in the, you know, the style of Star Wars. Absolutely love that poster, and it is one of my favourite games. And below that we have another one of my favourite games, and that is Monkey Island 2. And this is an original 91 shop sign. So when you went into shops when the game was released in 91, you might have seen this hanging as a promotional display. And Cine Steve hooked it up, so I got one of these. This is one of my favourite things in the room for sure, because not only is it one of my favourite games and it looks awesome on the wall, but it is kind of like a little piece of history, because you know, because it was hung in shops at the time. So let's go into the cabinet and have a look here, because just to eliminate the glare, and we'll probably get a bit of glare because some of these are in box protectors. So starting at the top there, we've got what we got behind there. There's like a big box BioShock that my mate Steve gave me. We've got a signed copy of Doom 2 from when I met John Romero, and the little Kotobukiya 8080 or AT-AT driver there, which I love. I love that, it's really cool. And behind that you can see a little LeChuck Perla bead art there, which Scott Sega Saturn lad gave me very kindly. And there's like a PC Engine box there. And then yeah, going down, I do apologise for the glare. Let's see if I can just eliminate that glare like a wee bit, just by turning these lights a bit. I think it's going to be pretty bad whatever I do here. So you know, we've got some of my favourite games at the front, like Monkey Island, and there's a load of LucasArts there. I think in fact they're all LucasArts, big box PC and Amiga stuff. In fact, they're all PC there, apart from the Monkey Islands. And then, you know, we just got a load of my favourite games, you know, Hexen, Descent there, you know, a load of old PC games. And then coming down again, we've got like a mixture of Amiga and PC on this shelf here, and of course Day of the Tentacle. And then we've got, like, coming down here is like the smaller box versions of PC games, and they, you know, I only buy Amiga games and PC games that I had as a kid. I don't really collect anything else. They're all games that meant a lot to me as a kid. You know, we've got Super Off-Road, Power Droid 90, Robocop, Rick Dangerous, you know, stuff like that. We've got the little Cannon Soccer demo there, which is a little nostalgic thing. for me, and that little Boba Fett on a speeder bike. So that's one of the only two things in this room that's original from my childhood. So I had this Boba Fett when I was a kid, and I had, you know, a great many Star Wars toys that I sold off, but I kept that. And coming down, I think we got the tail end of the Amiga stuff behind there, and we've got a nice Dark Forces in a you know, a Perspex box, same as Doom 2 in like a Perspex display box. Dark Forces, another one of my favourite LucasArts games. And at the bottom we've got just all my PS3 stuff. So behind there is a bunch of PS3 games. I've trimmed it down a lot, but we've got yeah, just PS3 games, and then we've got the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas collector's editions at the front there. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Fallout New Vegas, if you can see that, is number 1 of 6,650, which is awesome. So that's that cabinet there, and we come across to the main kind of bookcase, and yeah, at the top here we've got just a bunch of console boxes, so you know, Dreamcast, N64, Super Famicom, Saturn. We've got the Pi to DMD display there in black, and I'll stick in some extra footage of that actually running, and Craig from Goodwin's Place made that for me, and you just put GIFs on it basically, so it's got a bunch of you know, arcade marquees and game GIFs and stuff like that, and some of my logo, and you just turn it on and it just runs, and the camera doesn't do it any justice, but it looks absolutely amazing. It's such a cool kind of feature for the room. And we've got a reasonably new addition, that Crazy Taxi boxed car, because I always, whenever I go to Scott Sega Zombie's house and I see his Crazy Taxi car, I was always very envious of it, so I finally got one for myself. Coming down is the Mega Drive games. So we've got, like, you know, Mega Drive games at the front, and then there's 2 more layers of Mega Drive games. So I've got rid of a lot of stuff Mega Drive wise, but most of these are either games that I really love, discovered recently, or they're like nostalgic childhood games. And we've got some of my favourites at the front there, like the Streets of Rage trilogy, Toe Jam and Earl and stuff. And then on this side we've got indie games, you know, like the most recent indie games, like we've got Xeno Crisis, Tanglewood, Demons of Asterborg, and all that jazz. Coming down, we've got Vectrex games. So we've got, yeah, just I don't really collect Vectrex games. I've got a multi-cart that you can see there, but in here we've got you know, the newer games like Vector Pilot and Big Blue and stuff like that. We've got my box Game Gear. All my Game Gear games have gone. I sold off my entire Game Gear collection earlier this year, I think, or last year, and I've just got the I bought an Everdrive. We've got the Rad Pad Vectrex controller there, and then we've got all the albums from Remute, so all his albums that he releases on cartridge, which are really awesome. Here we've got more indie games, so we've got Paprium, Pappy Commando, some other stuff, and then obviously my Paprium limited edition and the arcade stick, and I'm sure there's some stuff behind there, but I'm not going to dig right through these, like I said, and go really in depth. Another thing that's all gone is my Saturn stuff. So all my Saturn stuff is gone, apart from these 4 big box games here, and then a couple of, like, you can see under there maybe Police Noughts, which is like a English translation Police Noughts that Ben Boyd made me. And behind here we got like some, you know, Dreamcast controllers and stuff, and there's all my PS1 collection back there. You can see Bishy Bashy Special there, but all the PS1 is back there, and there's a couple of box sets of GTA soundtracks, Vice City and San Andreas. Next shelf down is all Dreamcast. So, you know, Dreamcast is really slimmed down. Obviously, once upon a time I had a full set of Dreamcast PAL, but they're all gone. We've got the Dreamcast sign here if I just move this. So we've got, like, you know, Japanese and American, we've got indie games, and then we've got all the PAL games, and all the way back there is all PAL. And then we've got again the kind of DVD size box indie games and Dreamcast games, so like late releases like Cosmic Smash and Under Defeat, but then there's a load of, you know, the NG dev team stuff and all that, and behind there's like a House of the Dead box set, and we've got more acrylic you know, Perspex cases. to house the two Shenmue editions there. And I've got the full set of the Super Play cards, you know, the Sega cards, which I used to collect as a kid, although they're not my original ones. If we come down again, this is all Game Boy, and behind there is all N64 controllers and just random controllers and stuff like that. So these are all the Game Boy games I had as a kid, so I only really collect stuff I had as a kid. So, you know, favourites from childhood like Kirby's Dream Land. We've got there you can see Super Mario 1 and 2 and Zelda Link's Awakening, which are, you know, without a doubt my favourite Game Boy games. We've got some of the Game Boy Advance games I had as a kid, or I say as a kid, it would have been early 20s. But, you know, I didn't have many really. And then some of my favourites again, Advance Wars 2, absolutely brilliant game, Astro Boy. And then we got my Switch stuff, like so my just Switch games. I don't really collect big time on Switch, just a few games. And there's some more down here on the next shelf down. So these are like, you know, the bigger box sets, so like the Streets of Rage 4 and stuff like that. Behind there you can probably see all the way across the back is PS2, so all my PS2 games, which at one point I had like 400, and now it's really slimmed down to just those ones I really want to play. We've got my modded IPS V4 Game Boy that Goodwin's Place made me. I'll try and stick some extra footage of that actually running, but the screen on that is absolutely fantastic, chuffed with that, and I've been playing that loads. And then across here on a little stand we've got my IPS Game Boy Advance, which is awesome, and that gets played to death. I play a lot of Advance Wars on that. And then behind there we've got, you can see Jetpack DX, which my buddy Quang made. And here we've got some random stuff. So we've got a bunch of EverDrives. So we've got Game Boy Advance, Game Boy and Game Gear EverDrives. We've got Donkey Kong Game & Watch, which again I had as a kid. That was like one of the first things I ever owned, although this isn't my original. And we've got these. These are like Game Boy carts that you put in the Game Boy and that picture just comes up on the screen. Really cool. So we've got one of my logo and one of like my kind of avatar thing. I can't remember who made those, but the guy's on Instagram and I'll link to him if I remember. We've got my boxed DMGI1 Game Boy, absolutely mint. It's in a box protector, wonderful condition. Lucky enough to have bought that ages ago before they went mental, but that's just, looking at that is just pure nostalgia to me. That's one of the first things, you know, proper gaming things I owned was a Game Boy, and this is the one I got, so I just absolutely love that. And then we've got a very small amount of N64 and Super Nintendo and Super Famicom games, because I don't really collect Super Famicom and Super Nintendo. And the N64 games I had as a kid and loved are pretty much all there. So like 1080, Diddy Kong, GoldenEye. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the three games that I really loved as a kid. I was never really into much other stuff on the N64. And then we got Sin and Punishment there, which is just something I didn't have as a kid, but you know, it's a really cool import game. We've got my boxed Mega Drive, something else that's really nostalgic. And we got another LCD game of Turtles. Do you remember these? I used to have some of these when I was a kid, and that was gifted to me by Luke Bass Invader, which is awesome. And then we've got video game vinyls. So we've got a lot of records, you know, hundreds of records dotted around the house and the loft and stuff. But these are all the video game records. And then we've got like I've got like a file here of just all the notes. Whenever people send me stuff and they send a note, I keep the notes. But yeah, we've got some data disc stuff there. Some of my favourite game soundtracks like Hotline Miami, Shadow the Beast, Shadow the Colossus, Shovel Knight, and then yeah, you know, a bunch of Sega stuff. Really cool. And then the bottom shelf is something that I've been kind of getting into collecting, although this obviously isn't related to that, but this is a BBC Micro Joystick that Victor Marland made me. So a lot of you guys know Victor from the arcade scene and the Vectrex scene. He makes a lot of Vectrex controllers, but he made me this custom BBC Micro controller, and it looks so good. It looks like it could have been released back in the day with the BBC Micro. It's got the same colour scheme. It looks just like the BBC Micro. You can see there, he's even put this logo on it, which just looks amazing. Absolutely chuffed with that. But yeah, the rest of the bottom shelf is all board games, and I got heavily into board games the last few years, mainly thanks to one of my friends who has board game nights, and he has like literally hundreds of board games, and we play them, and I just love them. So we got some stuff here that I haven't even played yet, so you can see here Who Goes There. That was a Kickstarter that just came recently, and that is based on the novel Who Goes There, which was the inspiration for the film The Thing. And The Thing is one of my all-time favourite kind of horror films. I mean, I'm not really big into horror, but The Thing I absolutely love, and I love you know, practical effects. So I'm a big fan of the practical effects in that film, but that game is basically based on The Thing. And then we've got 2 expansions for that, which came with the Kickstarter, but I haven't played that. We've got classics like Risk, and I've got Scrabble downstairs and stuff. But some of my favourite games, if you want some recommendations for games for like beginner level, that one, Splendor, is absolutely amazing. It's only about 20 quid or less, and it's a card game, but it's really accessible and it's really fun. I found with that game that even if people aren't really into board games, they really love that game. And then my favourite board game ever probably is Quacks of Quedlinburg, which is just awesome. I'd thoroughly recommend that game. Really cool. So yeah, there's a little board game area and stuff there. I'm just going to move some bits around before we move over here to the TV and that, and then we'll be back in a sec. So yeah, this is the kind of TV area, and we've got a little buffet thing here with controllers in. So the bunch of the main controllers that I use, like kind of day to day, and stuff like my my Saturn Virtua stick and stuff is in there. So all controllers that I use on the regular. Ooh. Pick that up and move this out of the way. And then yeah, under the TVs we've got the consoles that I have set up day to day. So we've got, it needs a bit of a dust actually looking at it now, embarrassingly, but we've got a Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, Japanese Saturn, we've got the Mega Drive and Mega CD, and then we've got the N64. Now they all have EverDrives apart from the Dreamcast, so we've got an EverDrive in the N64, the Mega Drive, and the Super EverDrive in the Super Nintendo. We've got the Mega EverDrive Pro there, which is really awesome. And then in the Saturn I've got the Satiator or Satiator or whatever you want to call it, which just goes in the back of the video card port, and it lets you play any of the games just off the SD card. Hence I got rid of most of my Saturn games because I don't have any nostalgia for them, and I'm happy to just run them off of that, you know. And then the Dreamcast, I've actually ordered a GDMU you know, Dreamcast, which will kind of do a similar thing, SD card based. And then we've got some arcade sticks. So we've got a Dreamcast arcade stick modded there, which has I believe that one's Seimitsu buttons and stick, and it is modified to run on an Xbox. So when I play my CoinOps Xbox, I can use a Dreamcast controller. We've got the IMP stick that I got off Gross Newton, and that runs on Mega Drive and PC Engine. Let me pull these out so you can actually see them a bit better. Yeah, so that's the IMP stick. It kind of looks like a Neo Geo stick, I suppose, in a way, but it's awesome. And yeah, it's got a cable that kind of works both ways, so you can use it on Mega Drive or the PC Engine. And yeah, that's the Seimitsu modded stick for the Xbox. And then we've got another modded Dreamcast stick, which has, I think, Sanwa buttons on, which is just stock. Oh no, that one, the Seimitsu one, is for the Dreamcast that I had modded, and this one is the Xbox one, so that has Sanwa buttons on. So that's cool, and it's got the, you can see it's got the modded buttons there for like putting a credit in and starting the game and stuff for the arcade games on the CoinOps. And then I'll stick an image of this lit up, because when you turn all the lights on and everything and the plugs on, you know, this cabinet kind of lights up blue or whatever colour you want, but I think I've just got it set on blue. And then if we come up a bit, we've got a B&O MX 4000 there. So I did have a 7000, and when I moved here it was just a bit too big, so I changed that to a 4000. And then we've got a little JVC kind of PVM style broadcast monitor, which I got off Danester. And then we've got the OSSC there that I use for recording, and we've got an Otaku SCART switcher there. So I've got all the consoles running through this SCART switcher, and yeah, they just go through to the B&O. And then for the N64, I've got that hooked up to the little broadcast monitor, and then I can just switch out the plug on the back and it goes through to the B&O, so I kind of can do either or. We've got a couple of Black Series Star Wars helmets. So Goodwin's Place did make me little stands for these helmets, but when I rearranged everything, I kind of needed more space and I needed somewhere to put these, so I got these like helmet stands, things that just screw in to the wall. So I've just screwed them into the side of the cabinet. So we've got a Boba Fett here. Let's see if I can, what do I do? Press that and yeah, see that lights up. It's like a little light up scanny thing. That's so cool. Absolutely love that. And you can wear these if you want. Not that I do, but you can wear them. So we've got Boba Fett, and then we've got the original Stormtrooper helmet, which is really awesome. And then on top of the TV, we've got like a N64 controller on stand. So that's the controller that goes with my console, because obviously my console is the orange one. And then we've got one of my Devoom devices, which, you know, we can turn on and you can see, you know, the little images and stuff on there. Which I'm sure you guys have seen if you've watched the videos on them before, but I'll turn it on. So you can see there, it's like, you know, they're little pixel displays. So that was a Day of the Tentacle one that I made from a Day of the Tentacle Purple Tentacle image, and you can just put like animated stuff on there and everything. It's just a cool little display thing. And then behind here, which is kind of half obscured, but it's just a result of how the room was moved around, that we've got a Fallout New Vegas poster. Let me see if I can eliminate that glare a bit. So it's Fallout New Vegas, but in the style of the book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So it says Fear and Loathing in New Vegas, and it was part of a series that this artist did of taking classic book covers and kind of incorporating video games into them. And I absolutely love New Vegas, one of my all-time favourites, so that's awesome. Now on here, kind of on the side of the cabinet, you can see we've got the reissue retro Star Wars toys. So I only bought a few of these kind of nostalgic ones. So we've got Vader, a Stormtrooper and Boba Fett there. We've got one of the reissue Skeletors on here, and then there is a Peter Venkman Ghostbusters. So they're all kind of toys that I had as a kid that I really love. So yeah, oh yeah, and down here kind of in between we've got some like a PS3, which I just set up when I want to play it really, and then a spare Mega Drive, modded Mega Drive there. But yeah, that's pretty much that kind of side of the room. So we'll kind of flip around and I'll show you the other side. Okay, other side of the room we have, like I said, a little desk area where I've been working, and then we've got a little setup here of a couple of screens, and this is all kind of a new project that I've just finished. So let's move this chair here so I can get in. So underneath we've got the PC, obviously, that I use for, you know, work and editing and stuff, and then down there's also a JTAG 360 and my Nintendo Switch all hooked up there, and then an absolute mess of wires under there. On the wall, artwork wise, we've got framed Streets of Rage 2 records, and they are signed by Yuzo Koshiro, that you can hopefully see there, when I met him in London, so that's awesome. And we've got Speedball 2 poster signed, which is awesome. I forget who actually released those, but I absolutely love that. It's so cool. I'm just noticing now it's very slightly wonky in the frame, so I need to fix that. We've got a canvas of cannon fodder, and that was done by Stu Cambridge, who obviously did the artwork for Sensible Software and for Cannon Fodder. And yeah, he sells these prints. I think it's called Design Droid UK, and that's obviously signed by him. You can see there Stu, and I absolutely love that. And then here we've got something that kind of incorporates two of my loves, so Star Wars and Mega Drive. So it's a Mega Drive style poster about the, you know, on the Kessel Run, and you've got the Millennium Falcon there, obviously, which is awesome. So let me just sit down here. So PC wise, we've got some cool stuff hooked up here. So this monitor is an AOC monitor, and this goes up and down and it rotates. So if I want to play games in Tate mode, I can come over here, flip the screen and plug the Saturn in or whatever, and I can play my games Tate mode, so that's awesome. Now sound wise, we've got a Topping MX3 here, and that is a very small little amp, you can see there. Now what this does is it's a headphone amp and it's an amp for my speakers in one. Now the headphone amp isn't great, so for headphones I use Biodynamic DT770 Pros, and they are the 80 ohm version, and with the 80 ohm version I have to turn the volume up to probably 56 out of 100 on the Topping, whereas if I'm listening you know, just on the speakers, sort of 16 or 20 is loud enough. So you really have to turn that volume up if you're using headphones, and that's with 80 ohm ones. So I'd say if you're looking for a solution for a little speaker setup for your computer, I recommend this Topping MX3 thoroughly. But if you want to have a really good headphone amp, especially if your headphones are something like, you know, the higher impedance like 250 ohms or upwards, then you probably want to get something a bit more weighty. But for what I want to use it for, it's absolutely fantastic. And then you can see that either side we've got some Q Acoustics 3010s running through, and the reason I went for those is not only are they very good, but they are very small. And we've got some little stands. What's the brand of those stands? Kanto stands, I think they are. So they're for the Kanto U speakers, but they work perfectly well for the Q Acoustics, and it sounds fantastic. For a little desktop setup, it sounds absolutely amazing. So I can sit here and I can edit, or I can watch films, or whatever I want to do. And then yeah, I mean, nothing too exciting here, sort of, other than that. And then moving across, like I said, this has been a little new project, this area. So what we've got here is we've got the Vectrex set up, and that's got the UV surround, but I'm going to move that just down, just so we can get a better view of everything else. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you know, underneath the PC and everything is just my beloved BBC Micro, and I don't really know what to do with that at the moment. It's kind of in limbo, so it just sits down here until I want to play it. But that plays through the Sony Trinitron as well, and looks really nice. But I'm kind of in two minds about what to do with that at the moment. And yeah, that came from Alex Nintendo Arcade. Sold it to me for a very good price, and BBC Micro was one of my first loves in gaming, so absolutely love that. And that's got an SD card solution inside, so I've just got all the games on an SD card. I don't need any disk drive or anything, so that's just absolutely awesome. So I only really I don't really know what to do with the Vectrex, because I would like this area open, but then I don't really have any space for the Vectrex, so that's kind of a work in progress. It's just been living over there for the time being, and then I'll kind of work it out. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, the desk here I had custom made. So the reason it fits in that gap so well is because it was custom made to my specifications, and with that riser. So that riser actually isn't attached to the table, it moves. And that was custom designed as well to fit the width of my Amiga, but obviously the Amiga's now moved here. The company that made this desk is called Maple Barn Designs, and they're on Etsy, so I'll link to them if anyone's after a custom desk or anything like that. And then this riser here I had made recently, so that was custom made to my specs, and the company that made this is called Monte Handmade, and they are on eBay, and if I remember I'll link to them as well. So they made, I basically gave them the dimensions I wanted, so you can notice once the PC is there, that was the maximum length I could fit in, which is about 90 centimeters. So the PC's new, so it was a Dell Dimension that I bought. It's about 20 years old, but it's in fantastic condition, and I've gone through a bit of a palaver setting this up, but now it's pretty much all hunky-dory. So it's got a TNT2 in their graphics card, and then I added a Voodoo 2, and the computer was very cheap, but adding the Voodoo 2 pretty much doubled the cost, funnily enough, because Voodoos have gone crazy. And then I've been dossing around with sound cards, so it came with a sound card, and then I started playing around with Sound Blaster Live that I bought, but now I've gone back to the original sound card, and that's the Turtle Beach Montego 2, and it's got an Oriole Vortex chip on it, but it's really compatible, and I've had absolutely no issues with DOS. Well, I say no issues, like once you go through all the palaver of getting all the configuration right, I've now got every single DOS game working with all sound and sound effects and everything's great. So that Mitsubishi screen there I got from eBay, and Gruss Newton kindly picked it up for me, so I went and picked it up from Gruss's just before we went to Blackpool recently, and that screen is gorgeous. These Mitsubishi Diamond screens are very similar to the kind of Sony or the Dell Sony Trinitron screens, so nice flat screen, really amazing picture, and it's like quite a late CRT, so I think this one's dated 2001, but the picture on it is absolutely stunning. And then we've got some Yamaha speakers, so I wanted some old school kind of era specific speakers, so we've got, you can see Yamaha speakers there, and we've got a joystick, and then there's a little folder of all my disc games there, so that's awesome. And then we've got this this huge mouse pad thing that I got, which has obviously the keyboard and mouse for the PC, and you know, my mouse for the Amiga. And I love this artwork. I'm a big fan of Hokusai, and I'm sure everyone knows this artwork, The Great Wave, but it was basically part of a series he did, which is 36 views of Mount Fuji. So in every single picture you can see there's Mount Fuji. In every single one of these 36 pictures, it's like a different angle of Mount Fuji, and I absolutely love that. Really cool. Obviously we've got the Amiga 1200 under there. It was really nice condition. Do you know what? It seems to have yellowed dramatically in the last year, but I'm not too concerned because I did order a custom case and keys for that ages ago, but because of COVID that's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, so I'm still waiting on that. So I'm really looking forward to customizing my Amiga 1200 and having it look awesome. And then we've got the PC Engine under there. So what I've got is I've got a SCART splitter going into this Sony Trinitron. I forget the model number, it's something like 141T1U, something like that. Got really lucky with this on eBay, 25 quid, and the PC Engine looks mental through this, really cool. And I did kind of toy with the idea of getting an Amiga monitor to have next to the other monitor, but I like the Trinitron's flexibility that I can play consoles like the PC Engine, but I can also play the Amiga on it. So it's got a SCART switcher, so the Amiga and PC Engine are plugged into that at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just give you one more whiz around, and there's lights and stuff here, so apologies for the lights, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my little game room. I hope you enjoyed the quick tour. I know some people have been waiting ages for it, but yeah, it's small, but I'm really chuffed with it, and it's really fun, like now we've got like 5 screens in here. It's really fun having people around and just turning everything on and playing it. And maybe I'll quickly now I'll turn everything on and give you a whiz round of how it looks when everything's on and running. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.